Oh, Lord. How you doing? There's a lot here, you guys. There's sacrifice. Guys sacrificed minutes. They stayed locked in. The bench was tremendous with their production and their support. The coaches did a fantastic job working on Kyrie. Malik Monk, incredible offensive rebound and putback. But the one thing that we can't have is 21 turnovers for 36 points. Never, ever is that going to be doable. We just can't do it. I went to the big boys, and they came up huge for us and got us back in the game. Won the rebounding margin 50-33. Just a lot of good things as we still continue to try to find our flow. Yeah.
Doug, DeMar's performance tonight, season high, 42, just big bucket after big bucket, including the game winner. What can you say about his performance and just, kind of who he is as that kind of a player?
When you see his demeanor, it's how he plays. He's calm, he's relaxed, he's under control. He doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. He just stays in the pocket and he's consistent. I don't worry about him. He's going to have good games. He's going to have mediocre games. But the one thing that he always does is he's going to bring it any time. And he sacrifices for his teammates. The other night I took him out, said, give me a minute. Malik goes in, put him back in. He hits the bucket. And I think his teammates, they trust him at a really high level. So it's an honor to coach him and a real pleasure to have him.
You mentioned going big there, like last 9 minutes with Domas and JB. What were your impressions of that? It's the first time you tried it, I believe.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about doing that going into this, and what made you go and decide to try tonight?
Well, I've thought about it. I talked to Jay about it. I've talked to Dip about it, and LB, and I just, in that moment, things weren't where we wanted them to be, and they were up 10 or 12 and hurting us on the backboard a little bit, and more than anything, like we were turning the ball over trying to force the ball inside. So I had thought about different packages, what I want to run when they get in the game. And it might have caught some of us off guard because, obviously it's the first time that we did it. But when I told the coaches, I said, I'm going to go big. And I thought those guys were great. They've worked together for, practically their whole life, so they know each other's game. Looked at some high-low. You help go to the weak side, like some really good things came out of it, and they're huge. They're going to battle on the backboard, and that's really what we needed, is to limit possessions to one attempt per possession.
And, Dallas was small with all the injuries that they're dealing with right now, and were you a little reluctant to try that sooner, and then just it was kind of a last resort situation at that point?
I thought about it, but yeah, it was. I got to the point where I said, okay, this is something that I've thought about, and I think that this is probably the opportunity. Let's see how we work and give it a shot. And what I didn't want to do is attempt it, and they made a couple buckets, and think, woe is me, and get out of it. I want to give it the proper opportunity, and to their credit, all of the guys who were on the floor, but especially those two, they worked extremely hard, communicated at a high level, and they went in and did their job.
You mentioned the turnovers, and the points off turnovers, 36-15. It's been a problem. How are you trying to work through that? Obviously, you're working in new pieces, trying to learn how to play together, but just stylistically, is this team different than the team you had a week or so ago?
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a different team, but not only even looking at the different pieces. When you plug pieces in like that, it changes the dynamic of everything. And if you looked at our turnovers, they're not selfish turnovers. Guys are trying to hit the pocket. Guys are trying to feed the post. Guys are trying to help each other. And we just have to realize, if I'm trying to feed the post and it's getting deflected, it probably means that it's not there. Let's move the ball. A lot of times with Domas, and we kind of did it in Boston when we went there, we didn't try to force the post. They switched. He went to the dunker. And his advantage is on the backboard. If you can get it to him, get it to him. Otherwise, just play the game. Everybody settle down. Domas, clean it all up and punish them that way. And that's what it took both of them to kind of figure that out tonight. Yeah.
And I guess lastly, just, to win, back-to-back games here, and you got, a couple more before the All-Star break. How critical is it for you and good for you guys to maybe try to get on the roll here?
Yeah, it's, every game, we've talked about it. It's not an elephant in the room. Everyone understands that this is all judged by winning. We need to win ball games, put ourselves in a really good position coming out of the All-Star break. We'll have a couple days to get a couple practices in, try to work on some things. And I think after a trade deadline like we all experienced, there's a decompression that needs to happen too. Like, step away for a second, guys, and let life happen for you a little bit. Love your families, do your thing, and when we come back, let's hit the ground running. And I think that's the message that I've imparted to them, and what I will continue to tell them. When we come back, it's a race to the finish line, and hopefully in these last two games we put ourselves in a really good position to take advantage of it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a good